The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, and let me tell you, we have some great action setting up for us. We look at these charts, and it just gets me excited. It gets me ready for prime time, dare I say. We're coming back into these key levels, back into June 16th highs. I've been telling you on Twitter, so make sure you're on there. Told you this morning at market open, watching June 16th highs on Nasdaq and ES for direction, still mounting these levels bullish for me. Dollar yields got more love, but Fed members leaning towards a pause. There we go. Don't have confirmation. Don't be greedy, right? But what did we start telling you, right? What did we start warning you, right? With the media, with the levels of this chart, the bull flag playing out here. So we have this action. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, before we get into that, I have to ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel tremendously. Obviously, I love you. I appreciate you. We're live here every single day, 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. Central. Make sure you check us out. You can ask us questions and we talk about the stocks of the day. If you're interested in taking that next step, right? It's like when you take that one girl serious and you're like, hey, I kind of want to change my terrible ways. I want to go from being a situation to a relation. Think about it. Discord may be for you, right? We're not going to make you millionaires overnight, but what we're going to do is teach you all the fundamental tools to get you ready. You're going to see every single chart. You're going to see every single plan that we have throughout the day. Check it out. We do have free education. Make sure home education that's there. But let me tell you, everyone's like, Tyler, this is a bear flag playing out here. If this is a bear flag, then I guess the bear flag's half the size of your pole to the downside. That's ridiculous. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what a bear flag is. People online, they hide behind keyboards. They're wild. Anyways, you're doing what you need to do. Nasdaq, I think the bull flag here is pretty easy to identify. You're trying to kind of break out of it now. You're still right there. Trying to break out of it above that level is old. This is the June 16th high. You can zoom out as well. But I'm excited. Now, I'm going to tell y'all why. But you know what? I got to shout out to Colorado. Shout out to Deion Sanders because y'all made me some money this weekend, Colorado. So what does Deion say? What does he say? Hey, play my doggone theme song, boys. Okay, so a few things with the market before we jump back into the charts. Again, I'm really excited about these charts. I'm going to tell you some names I'm liking. But the things I want to talk about first is everyone's talking DXY, yields, what's happening there. So we're seeing some sectors or we're seeing some tools rise that generally give us a bearish sense. Now, it's really important that we look at what the Fed is doing. When we are trying to interpret the dollar, when we're trying to interpret yields, it's very important we're focused on a few things. Why do we focus on them? We focus on those because they are underlying indicators of the Fed and how the market will be moving forward. Now, I will say this right now. If you're trying to play the prediction game to the downside, I promise you, it is a losing game. That's why I continue to say, when will I turn inherently bearish? When we get bad data. That's why I turned a little bit bearish when I got the bad PPI data. But since then, the data has been good. We can disagree about this all day long, but it is what it is. Then we saw from the Fed today. If you look on my Twitter, I retweeted it, right? Fed Waller. He said, based on data that's come in and unemployment data as well, it puts the Fed in a good situation to have space with their rate decision coming up, meaning a pause seems likely. We already had a lot of members talk about pausing again. So again, this just reiterates the idea that a pause is on the table. Okay. The only thing that can hurt this is maybe bad CPI data. And again, I do think oil will be an inherent issue, but are we looking 3 months ahead right now when it comes to our trades? I am not, because we've been so sporadic with the behavior and there's been a lot of surprises on the board. So that's what I want you to identify. When we're looking at the Fed's decision this month coming up right now with their rate decision, it's going to come down to two things, okay? The data on inflation, CPI, PCE, and PPI. They say primarily PCE, which came in as expected for like the 7th consecutive time, as expected, if not better, and then also unemployment data, which some people are saying, well, unemployment data is rising. This means the Fed needs to continue to rise. No, we're being idiots if we believe that. The Fed has been trying to raise unemployment by raising rates for literally a year and a half. Congratulations, Fed. It's working finally. Now that it's working, that doesn't mean, okay, it's working. Let's keep trying to fuck the market up more. That's not logical. Okay, you save those rates for times like what's could be happening very soon. Oil rising, which could spark inflation again. But are we gonna guess if it's gonna spark inflation? No, little Timmy, no. We're going to wait, right? Because we will catch the move. Like I always say, everyone's like, oh, we're gonna miss the move. Have we ever missed the move here? Really think about it. On the past 2 years, every big move, we have traded those moves over the past 2 years on this channel. We don't catch the bottom, but we catch the confirmation in either direction, right? Understand that? That's what protects us from big losses. Now, again, enough for the rant. Time to get to these picks. Tesla, God bless. Oh my God, God bless. So first of all, I'm recording this video a little bit early. I need to go to the gym and it just fits my schedule today. So we have like 20 minutes left in the market, I think. Yeah, like 15 minutes. Possibly making a bullish engulfing candle. Pretty incredible if you can get back up here. What does this remind? I mean, we did have a pushback down to 240, bounce right off support, which again, telling that you're bouncing right off of previous highs. Pretty bullish. And you had that data come in on Tesla's delivery numbers, which were good again. You push back into 259. Very good behavior. Post this on Twitter as well. If you get above 259, we're looking for continuation, but this is ultimately a big kind of resistance that we've been watching, right? 259, 260. That trap, we called that out also in that live that day. Again, that's what we're looking at there. Now, again, though, for confirmation for upside, I can only say this so many times. I really want to see ES above 45.20, okay? Write it down, put it on your finger, put it on a sticky note on your computer, 45.20 on ES. That's where you need to get above to have confirmation for continuation to the upside. Today, what I will say, Qs and Nasdaq got a lot more love. Right? A lot more love. But I do want to show you. SPY's volume up into about like 1 o'clock was pretty terrible. I haven't looked at it since then. Yeah, it's still pretty terrible. Into close, we're going to close at 46 million. After hours, maybe 55. Very low volume. So very telling as well. But I want to say this right now. If sellers were going to step in, it would happen sooner than later. Okay, I want to address this. Why? Because if we look at it from a technical standpoint, one, as you consolidate above a resistance or a support, it is bullish behavior. This was a resistance. You have flipped it to now a support. Consolidating above this looks good, looks strong. Okay, that's why I like this behavior. Also, too, sellers had every reason to try to push you down here. Again, you made higher lows, right? Bounced off of all that as well. This was your PCE drop, right? Or your Jackson Hole talk, right? PCE Jackson Hole, I don't even know what it was. Anyways, that's when you dropped, right? And you bounced, made higher low, and you pushed back up. That was when that came out. Okay, so understand, that was the worst time for you. That was your moment of weakness for bulls, in my opinion. Now, I will say again, you do not have confirmation. Again, people will like twist and turn what I say. You have confirmation when you get above 45.20. Until then, it's sticky situation. That's why I said as well from Twitter, I said, don't be greedy, right? When I say something like do not be greedy, that means that there is no confirmation. Meaning when you get a trade in the direction you like quickly, like something like, for instance, Meta, you get above 298 and you push into 300, 301, take profits because there's no confirmation on the underlying index, which puts you at more risk. You'll see how I tie all this in together, how I'm always associating myself and trying to protect my account. I want you guys to try to comprehend this as well with me, right? The goal, again, I say it all the time, the goal is survival. The goal is to not get destroyed on your account, not to take big losses, because you're going to learn as you can reduce the size of those losses, as you can become more defensive, right? You open yourself up to greatly shrinking your amount of risk. Right? And as long as there's a great disparity in your reward opportunity versus your risk, you will be a good trader. You will put yourself in a good situation. Unless your strategy is just straight up trash. That's the only possible way. Okay, so Tesla, that's what we're looking for. You're not getting the best close here, but we'll see. I'm not going to be here till the end of the day. So NVIDIA, this is one of my favorite charts right now. And it's doing a few things. What it's doing right now reminds me of 450. You see, back here at 450, for some reason, people were trying to get bearish, and I didn't understand why. Because your clear-cut level was 440. If you broke 440, that's when you got bearish. But 450 was higher, right? You established on top. We mentioned this, and you shot. Remember, we talked about this last week as well. Go look it up. I don't care. Now you went into highs, and you kind of came back down. But now, again, it's possible you could break down. Anything is possible, right? Shout out Kevin Garnett. But it's worth mentioning you are now making a very similar type of support at this level, right? Looks very similar. You go like to the 5-minute, you have just coasted and sat on top of 480 for about 2-3 days now. Very, very strong. Now, again, I'm not telling you to all in your position. If anything, your time to buy is near 482 to 480. That's the time you buy. But what I will say, okay, the risk to reward here is good. It's decent. You do need Nasdaq. You need Nasdaq to get continuation. And in order for Nasdaq to get continuation, I think you're going to have ES to hold above 45.20. So everything kind of comes back to ES 45.20. I will continue to say that before I can get very confident on a clear breakout, right? Because we're still kind of on the edge. You still have the Fed meeting coming up. So understand that, right? Again, I feel pretty bullish, but I continue to say the confirmation is not there yet, right? So we're not hammering all in. We have our data positions, so on and so on. AMD, dear sweet Lord, baby Jesus. I'm talking 9.82 ounces, little Jewish baby Jesus. My gosh. Looks good. It looks good. You're balancing out a support 102, 101, pushing up really nice, breaking above resistance as well, about 109.5. Look really good. Targeting into around 116, 118. Be careful, but the big level here. Again, this is long term though. Like you're looking to get above 122, the end, right? So again, those are my favorite plays, right? And the last thing I'll mention is Microsoft, because I've been talking about this a lot and you're finally getting the action today. Microsoft above 330, very bullish. And you're getting it now. A few things here that we've mentioned as well. Clear inverse head and people keep asking me what an inverse head and shoulders looks like. And yeah, I don't know if we just like are delusional sometimes and like to imagine shapes like calling a square a triangle. But I don't do that. I don't imagine things. I like to live in reality. So this is what an inverse head and shoulder looks like, right? Clear. Now the shoulder line right here, a little bit ugly, but overall, you have your overall formation and you're pushing up through this, right? Understand that. One of the best looking patterns out here. You're coming into 338, like we mentioned, above 330. Microsoft looks really good. I do want to say though, Microsoft is one of the names that's been held down the most for the longest. You've been retracing the longest since like July 17th, 16th, since you made those overall big levels that we had. Okay. Next up too is Apple. So Microsoft, I like it a lot, but Apple's just straight recovering, right? That gap fill coming in 190.8, clicking up pretty soon. New iPhone being released. Like I said, safer name. Apple looks really good. Congrats if you bought it on the dip today. But that's what I'm looking at. That's what I love. If you have questions, comment down below. Tag me on Twitter if you have questions. I'm posting all the time there. You always ask about stocks, and I'm like, guys, just look at Twitter. I'm updating y'all every day. I give you rundowns through the day. I give you breakdowns, what I'm loving, what I'm liking. And I'm telling you right now, I'm loving what I'm seeing, right? The hat. Right, I got it right here. The bull hat. We're almost ready, right? We're almost ready.